Okay,
Yeah.
here's another thing.
Absolutely.
Is that when you think a lot of these beer styles that are like, historic representations of where it is that they're from, a lot of them are sour. So it's true that they're also like, a lot of times based on ingredients, and they can a lot of times be based on like water profile. So like you think of like Irish Stout or IPA, both have a lot to do with water profile. But a lot of the ones that are in like the middle of Europe, they're all related to the type of microflora, microfauna that were just naturally causing these fermentations. So Goes is a great example, Berliner Weiss is a great example, and like the best, most classic example of all of them is going to be Lambic. And so, I think that while maybe there hasn't been a ton to happen like that in the city of Boise, I know that Woodland has done the sourdough starter from Acme.
Yeah, we just did a cool ship last year. We're going to release it this fall.
What'd you use as a cool ship?
We brewed, it was in November, early December. James brewed a beer, literally put it in an old hot liquor tank that we had with the top off, left it outside overnight, and then the next morning clamped it down and it got to work. And it's, we're gonna go pick, we think, we're gonna try and do a huckleberry cool ship. So we're gonna go get a bunch of huckleberries and throw it in and hopefully release it, if it's ready, October, November. So it'll be the first cool ship in Idaho that we know of.
Do you think maybe it's a generational thing that the new generation coming up, they're more interested and open-minded to culture of craft beer and growing it?
I think
and that's going to help drive sales for styles like that?
I also think that the culture of craft beer, maybe not as much now, but definitely like 4 or 5 years ago when it was, seeing double-digit growth every year, was the next new flavor, the next top flavor, like the highest alcohol percentage, the most IBUs, the most sour, and so everybody was like looking for all these new flavors.
And the juiciest and haziest.
And now it's the juiciest and haziest. But I think that on average, people have kind of tapered off of that, and we're not seeing growth in the industry anymore like that. We're like still seeing growth in some measures, I guess, but a lot of that I think is a reflection of people feel like they've discovered it all, and it's also not like new or interesting. Now everybody knows what craft beer is. My mom knows what craft beer is. I bet all of your moms know what craft beer is. I mean, I guess you're all craft beer people, but
what do you do for work again, son? I mean, one of the things we do at Woodland is definitely unique, and we shoot for it to be purely local in Boise, and that's our Foothills series that we do at the Modern. We use all foraged ingredients from the Foothill. We walk up there with the guys from the Modern, the guys from State and Limp, and we forage stuff and we throw it in beers and try to research the things that grow naturally, behind our backyard and figure out what works in beer to make it taste good. We just did a gruit. It's traditionally like a style that comes from Belgium, but we're using our own natural ingredients to try to simulate that style, and so I would say that's like one of the things that I can think of that we do at Woodland to try to bring local flavor.
I tend to think that like a lot more like local flavors are going to come from like our hop producers and our barley producers out here. Because that's where like we're producing a lot of barley and then we're getting up there in the hops.
Second biggest in the country for hops. We beat Oregon.
So a lot of our local breweries are already using these local ingredients, but I don't feel like we're seeing it reflected in our like local flavor,
I think it might take time though. As with anything that is you're trying to change the identity of something, it's going to take some time, maybe a couple years to really start seeing the change, or having people ask for those, like, hey, do you have a beer with all local hops or all local barley or local fruit? Like we try and use local fruit and herbs as much as possible when it's in season, but it's super expensive. You can only make a small batch. You can't make enough to like sell a keg to every restaurant in town.
Really get the message out, and so it just takes time to like create that message.
Which I think those things could all contribute to this sense of like Boise's beer, which is diversity in flavor, and like not rarity per se, but limitedness, because it's fleeting. So you have to have like been there and experienced it to like Mission Accomplished. I've tasted Mission Accomplished. I'm not saying it makes me a Boise beer expert, but I've been on the ride, I guess, of like funky beer in Boise and observed it. So Hold
on, Michael.